All right, man. Cheers.
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 Yes.
All right. So before we get into today,
Yeah.
I just got to tell you a little bit about this sake because this sake was super cheap, but it was not super cheap, but it's pretty cheap. But it's also really good. It's from Akita, and so basically, I got to tell you, if you like this kind of sake, if you just read the label, and you can read it says Akita, then you know it's probably going to be good. Just keep that in mind.
Really?
This is namazake, so it's raw, so it's not pasteurized, so it's got that kind of fresh taste.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, dude, what are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to dive into train stories.
Train stories.
Yeah.
Our experiences in Japan at the train station, anything related to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you told me before that you have a story related to milk.
I have a milk
It made
story.
me super curious. I just get right into it.
We're just going to dive into it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this was happening one morning, and I was on my way to work. It was a Saturday morning. And before we progress into the story, let me just give some understanding about what Saturday morning means.
Okay.
So most people in Japan have the weekend off. So Friday night is a typical drinking night here in Japan, especially for salarymen. And it's not unique to Tokyo, but I would say more so in Tokyo. People tend to stay out all night and stay till like last train or something, or stay till like 4 a.m. And so at the time I was living in Kamata, which is like South Tokyo.
Okay. You don't live in Kamata anymore?
I don't live in Kamata anymore. No, I live in near Omori. Now.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically the same place.
Yeah.
But
It's anything on that, like, what is it called? The
Keihin
Keihin line?
Yeah.
To me, that's like,
it's all the same.
it's all the same.
Yeah. But yeah, so Kamata felt like I always gave it this nickname, Salaryman Town.
Yeah. That's
because you go there and it's like all bars, nightclubs, and like cheap like ramen restaurants, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so typically you got like a lot of drunk people.
Yeah.
Mostly drunk salarymen there. And don't go there in the morning because it smells like pee. I'm just gonna say
Kamata in general.
Yeah. Like basically the whole place smells like
sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do, which is why I'm interrupting you. But so one thing that really surprised me when I came here was that like midnight salaryman ramen is a thing.
Oh,
like all the business
it's a good
guys.
thing too.
Yeah. They go out drinking with their buddies.
Yeah.
They get super drunk. And then before they go home, they just stop by a ramen place in the middle of the night and just...
I did the exact same thing a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was coming home from a night of drinking. I got last train. We were coming from Shibuya. And I was just like, man, ramen sounds so good. And like ramen is like one of the best drunk foods.
Yeah, it is.
I would say ramen and gyoza. Like those two things, it's the fat.
Yeah, I would say tonkotsu ramen is the perfect drunk food.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't even think that this ramen place next to my station is particularly special, but I feel like they have better ramen than other places.
You have like the really good ramen places, and then you have the late night ramen places.
Yeah.
So,
but anyways, going back to my story. So drunk people in Kamata, right? So going back to my story, I'm on my way to work, and I leave for work at around 7 in the morning, right? So it's fairly early. Around that time is usually when all the drunk people are like kind of climbing out of the karaoke boxes and like stumbling their way home.
Yeah.
And so I get on at Kamata because that was my station. I'm riding the train and I notice that there's a guy who's kind of just like I'm leaning away from the mic, but he's leaning up against like the train door, right? And so I'm looking at him and he's holding this, like the gyunu milk.
The cartons of milk?
Yeah. So he's holding like a thing and he's got like a straw and everything. And
is it how big is it? Is it one of the big ones or a smaller ones?
It's like, it was one of the larger ones.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a milk carton.
Like from a supermarket, like 1 liter.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So he's holding the milk carton and he's got the hole open and everything, right? And so he's leaning up and this guy's like, you can tell he's just hammered.
Yeah.
Right? This guy is like barely conscious. And he's leaning up and he's just kind of like stumbling and the train stops and the door starts to open. Yeah. And like I said, he's leaning up against the door and it startles him and he squeezes the milk carton and it just explodes on his face.
Really?
Oh my God. So this guy is just like, literally his upper body is just covered in milk now.
Is he wearing a suit or something? Oh, jeez. Oh,
just covered in milk. And like, no one else saw it for some reason. This is a crowded train and no one was paying attention.
Yeah, they saw it, but they were not looking.
I could not contain myself. I was like crying and choking looking at this guy laughing so hard. I've never seen someone just explode milk all over themselves right in the middle of the train.
But it's fun. Like, first of all, it's funny that you say that, but I can totally imagine that. Like, it's to me, because I've seen like a lot of weird stuff on the train.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that something like that happened.
Yeah, right? Like, it's pretty logical. It's like, he just got startled and his instant reaction was just like squeeze. But boom. It just exploded all over his face.
But that's something like when you talked about how no one saw it or no one was looking.
Yeah.
You know, it's really funny. When my sister came and visited me back in 2014, at the time she was living in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, Arthur, I like New York more. And one of the reasons I like New York more is because I can be crying on the street and no one cares.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the same thing in Japan too. But she's like, no, but I can see that they're looking at me, judging me. And I'm thinking, really? No one's looking. But you know what it was? But what you're talking about on the train is people were not looking, but they were looking.
Yeah.
They were containing themselves.
Yeah. It's like people have like this awareness of what's going on, but like they don't look.
Dude. Okay. I wasn't planning on telling this story, but have you ever had like the only way I can describe it is like the school of fish mentality when weaving through the crowds in like Shinjuku Station or
yeah. Now that you mention it, I know exactly what you're talking about. Where like people will be looking at their phones and like completely oblivious to what's going on, but they like moving in like synchronicity. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It's like I knew I'd lived here long enough when I started moving almost involuntarily to avoid someone that I didn't even know was there.
Yeah. I get that feeling when so I go to a station called Gotanda a lot, which is kind of it's not a huge station, but it's kind of like a transit station.
Yeah.
It's a station that people usually change from the subway to the normal JR train. And so it's usually pretty crowded, right? Because a lot of people are going to Shibuya, which is like the big party place in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And so it's really crowded, especially going through the ticket machine. And subconsciously, I will go to the available ticket machine without even looking. And I won't even realize it until I'm out of the ticket machine. I'm like, wait,
how did I do that?
Yeah.
Like I just came back from 2 months in the States and I lost that. Like I'm like almost bumping into people. Yeah. I have to get some time before I can actually get that sense back. But no, it's funny because my dad said the same thing. He's like, Arthur, this is amazing. It's like a school of fish, and I'm the only one outside.
It definitely feels that way. Yeah. It absolutely feels that way.
Another place where I've really had that sensation is at Shibuya Scramble, the crosswalk. Have you ever been at the very front when the light goes green and then it's almost like you're going to war with the other side?
It's scary.
Yeah.
There's no pathway at all. It's a wall of people coming at you.
Yeah, and you're walking towards them and everyone else on the side is walking, but for some reason
it works.
People don't hit each other. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's weird. Man, we're getting a little sidetracked from our thing, but I want to talk about the scramble a little bit more.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you seen any ridiculous things during the scramble?
You mean in the crosswalk itself?
Yes.
I've seen people like take pictures and stuff in the middle of the scramble.
Okay. So I've seen some pretty crazy stuff. So usually they're foreigners.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of Japanese people, they just don't care. They just want to cross the street. But like the scramble's pretty famous around the world, so a lot of people just want to go and do goofy stuff there. And I remember one time it was these group of college age guys. They're pretty young. Obviously, I'm gonna guess American.
Yeah.
I didn't hear their voices, but just looking at them, they looked American. And they brought a canoe.
They brought a canoe.
There were two of them in the canoe. and there were 4 of them carrying the canoe.
Okay.
And so like as the scramble came, like they're holding the canoe above the people, and the guys are like going through here as the people are walking by.
When was this?
It was a couple years ago during Halloween.
Wow. Okay.
When it was really packed in Shibuya, and I saw it and I thought that was the most hilarious thing. It looked ridiculous, but it was kind of funny though, because there were so many people that it actually like looked they were going through like some kind of body of water or something. Yeah. It was whoever those young men were. That was ingenious.
Hey, dude, so I've had some experiences with like strange experiences at the train station, which were at Shibuya Station actually. Yeah. I remember so this is right when I was starting my business back in 2014. Yeah. And I had to do some work, or I had to make a call or something. And so on the JR platform, they have seats there. You know? One thing that I've always thought was interesting is there are hardly like any seats at the train platforms, you know. But anyway, so I was in one of the few places where you could sit. Yeah. And I'm just working and I'm looking something up. And then all of a sudden, this guy in his what seems to be late 20s kind of like sits down, leans over to me, it's like, "Hey, where are you from?" And I'm not sure if he's drunk or high. Yeah. But I started talking with him and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. I used to live in Australia." Cool, man. We should hang out sometime. I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" So like we exchanged line, which is like the messaging app in Japan. And then later on, he's like, "Yeah, dude, you should come down to my bar. It's in Shinjuku Nichome." I was like, "Oh, maybe not." Yeah, I just got picked up by a Japanese dude at Shibuya Station. It was it was interesting. Wow. I don't know where he is now, but
that was a really roundabout.
I know.
just cold calling people on the train.
I wasn't sitting on the train. I was sitting at the platform. Oh, okay. And everyone was going by in the train and left, and he just sits down. I think like he really looked like he was either drunk or high, and he was like, "Hi, where are you from?" And I was just like, "Okay, cool. Let's have a discussion here.
Let's see where this goes."
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I ended up never hanging out with that dude, but yeah.
Yeah, you get some real characters there. Yeah. I remember there was one guy. It's always the last train that you see these people. Yeah. But there was one guy who, for the life of me, I have no idea why he did this, but he was very obviously intoxicated. Yeah. I was coming back from Roppongi, and it was in the subway stations. And so in some of those stations, like late at night, they can get pretty empty. Yeah. And like I didn't even see any staff around. So this guy is just like sitting there. He's, like I said, he's very obviously intoxicated. Just randomly takes off his pants.
In Roppongi Station?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just takes off his pants.
Was he wearing underwear?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he wasn't like going nude or anything.
No, he wasn't going nude. And like, I was so confused by it. Yeah. Because he took off his pants and then just act like nothing happened.
Really?
And was just like standing there in his underwear. And I'm just like, I'm looking at him now because I'm just really confused at this. I'm just like, oh, you gonna do anything else?
So he just like was standing and then he just took off his pants
was standing, took off his shoes, took off his pants, put his shoes back on, and just waited for the train. And I'm just like, dude, you can't do that. Yeah. There's a rule. Like, if you're gonna do something insane, you gotta follow that up. Yeah. Like, now I'm invested in this. Yeah. Now I want to see what's gonna happen, and nothing happened.
Really?
And I feel like I was ripped off.
Yeah. Right? I would feel that way too.
Like, I was so frustrated.
Like, what's the next thing?
Like, I got on the train. I'm just like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah. Did he? So he just got on the train and that was it?
Yeah. He got on the train, and then like people looked at him and like kind of shied away from it because you don't want to sit next to a guy not wearing pants. That's weird.
Right.
But then he got off the next station, never saw him again. And I feel like to this day, I feel like that man owes me an explanation.
Yeah. So why did you do that?
It's so frustrating,
man. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I think about all the weird stuff that happens here. Yeah. But then again, when you think about the number of people who are here, it's surprising that more weird stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I got to tell you though, I've run into so many of my friends from Seattle at the train station.
Oh, how
It's
crazy
so
is
weird.
that, right? It's just because it's so easy to spot white people at the train station.
No. I'm talking about white people included, but I'm also talking about Japanese people too.
Oh, really?
Like there were some students who I knew from UW, University of Washington, back in 2011, and then 2010, and it's 2015, and I'm walking by, and it's like, dude, I got to tell you, the weirdest thing I ever had.
Yeah.
The weirdest experience I ever had at the train station was at Shinokubo.
Okay. Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, Shinokubo is great. That's like the Korean town.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, you know this, but not everyone knows this. I was born in Germany. I spent the first 8 years of my life in Germany. Germany has a close place in my heart. And when I was in high school, I would go on a volunteer trip to Romania.
Okay.
That schools in Germany took part in. So like we had connections there. We knew a guy there. So I would go there. I was like the one kid from the States, from America, going there.
Yeah.
And there was this one, it was an international school, so there were also a lot of expat kids, whatever. There was this one girl who had just come from California. Okay. And she was going to school in Düsseldorf, Germany. It's like completely opposite like worlds right there. Yeah. And we became friends. Her name is Kimberly, right? So we became friends on this volunteer work trip. And then I'm in Shinokubo Station walking by, and I think I see her. And she just walks by. It was so fast. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be a weirdo. Like, hey, are you Kimberly? Oh no, sorry. Just kind of. But it also just happened so fast. I didn't realize it. And so later on that night, I sent a message to her on Facebook. First time I've talked to her in like almost 10 years. And I was like, hey, Kimberly, are you in Tokyo? I think I saw you in Shinokubo. She's like, yeah, that was me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's kind of funny you mentioned that because I just ran into my coworker when I was in Gotanda Station like a week ago, and that happens pretty frequently. Not specifically with her, but just with friends of mine. And you would think like, oh well, okay, Austin, that's not really that crazy. People are kind of using the train or same train stations. Yeah, that's fair, but until you come here, you really don't understand just how big these train stations are and how many people are in them. Especially a lot of the big transit stations. There's thousands of people going through these stations at a time. Yeah. You know? And yeah, it's just nuts that it seems like it's pretty regular that you end up bumping into these people.
Yeah, I mean, I was like in Shinjuku Station also, this was years ago. And I'm walking by to get onto by the way, Shinjuku Station is like a cloud of madness. You know,
that's an understatement. Yeah, I would even say.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting better now with all the signs and stuff. But like, there are so many lines that connect. You have the JR lines. You have the Toei lines. You have the Metro lines. And everything's kind of coming together. And so you can be at Shinjuku Station, but the part of Shinjuku Station you're in isn't in your line. So then you have to go somewhere else. But then to do that, you have to get out of the ticket gates, and then you have to cross. You have to walk like 10 minutes. It's crazy. Yeah. But I was in the Toei part, and I was walking down, ready to get on the Toei Oedo line. And I passed by, and there's this girl that I met like 10 years ago in Seattle. I'm like, what are you doing here? She's like, I live here now. So, oh, cool. You know, it's just crazy how that happens.
That is absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Do you have any interesting stories like that? Meeting people?
Not so much meeting people. Yeah. I do have. I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but it's still in like the transit thing. Have you ever taken a night bus?
No, I haven't.
Don't.
Oh, really?
They're terrible.
Really?
They're really uncomfortable. But it's it's kind of fun in a sense though. Because one of the things that I don't know, I don't even know if I miss, but I miss it. Like I miss it in the sense that I miss the experience, but I don't miss actually doing it. It's road trips. Okay. So I don't really get to do road trips
in the States. You mean?
Yeah. I don't really get to do road trips here in Japan because I don't have a license, which actually it's pretty easy for me to get a license.
Yeah, because you're from Washington State.
But I just don't have one.
Yeah, but dude, the highways are expensive here. So just to tell you, so my wife, she's from Niigata, which is about a 4-hour car ride to Tokyo, right? For them to do that, going through tolls using the highways, cost them $50.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is
4
insane.
hours. I mean, and I thought New York City was expensive at like $15.
Man, I used to raise a stink living in California because they have toll highways in California.
Yeah.
And I used to raise a huge stink about it because it was like friggin' $5 just to go on freaking 405 for like 30 minutes. This sucks.
Yeah.
And then, you come here and it's like
$30.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, man.
So taking road trips?
Yeah, so night buses.
Yeah.
First, I'm going to explain why they suck, and then I'm going to explain why.
First, tell me, where did you take this night bus?
Osaka.
From where to where? Yeah, I mean...
From Shinjuku to Osaka.
Yeah,
so
how much is that normally?
Very cheap, actually. It was about $40.
Okay, $40.
So about 4,000 yen.
If you were to take like the bullet train, it would be like $130.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, here's why they suck.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking what's barely better than a public transit bus for 6 hours. So to put this into context, imagine you're traveling from San Francisco to LA.
Okay.
That's about the same amount of time traveled between Tokyo and Osaka.
Yeah.
It's about 6 hours.
Okay.
In fact, I think Osaka it's about 8.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're on this cramped bus, and I really can't emphasize enough that Japanese buses are small.
Yeah.
They're cramped.
Mm-hmm.
They it's not even so much of a matter that I'm a big guy. It's like they're just trying to put as many people as possible in the bus. Yeah. So there's no leg room.
Yeah.
And then coupled with the fact that you're on the bus for an extended period of time. So it sucks. It's cool because they're usually pretty cheap and they travel at night. So you can it's just like an overnight trip somewhere. So that's nice. But something that I really, really appreciated is when I took this night bus, there's all these little stops along the way, which, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing in America, right? You go to America and you have these like, I don't even know what you call them.
Rest stops?
Rest stops.
Yeah. Dude, it's okay. You've been here too long. God. It's fine.
I can't even remember the name. But so let me tell you about the rest stops here. Yeah. They're awesome. So like all of these rest stops are like miniature like shopping areas. Yeah, right. And every single one of them has like a food court. Yeah. That's in them. So like that's something that was kind of weird for me because I remember rest stops in the US, you'd have like a 7-Eleven or like an AM/PM or some kind of convenience. Yeah. Some kind of convenience store, right? And that's like it. But like here, it's like you can get like full blown meals. Yeah. They sort of like really well prepared bentos and everything. Yeah. And I was really impressed by that. And so here I am at like 2 or 3 in the morning on my way to Osaka, and I get this like really nice bento meal, and I was so excited about it. And then I got back on the bus, and I'm like, oh, I have nowhere to eat this. Yeah. Because there's no friggin' room.
Yeah, right. It's so cramped.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Actually, I got to tell you. So speaking about rest stops, on the way back from Niigata to Tokyo, because I've done this a few times. Sure. Now we take the Shinkansen, but before that we did road trips. Yeah. And there was this one place where you would get, they call it Kamameshi. Okay. Which is...
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, so kama is like the bowl that rice is cooked in. So like the rice cooker that still thing's called kama, right? Yeah. So originally they were made out of clay and stuff. So this one... They actually have like little bentos of kamameshi where they will give you like a small clay thing that they've cooked the stuff in.
I have not seen that at the rest stops, but I'll tell you where I did see that is where was I up in? I was up in I think Nagano.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's probably where we did it, because to go from Niigata, you have to go to Nagano.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was riding the Shinkansen, the bullet train up there, and...
oh, yeah, they have it there.
Yeah, right next to the train station terminal.
Yeah, that's like in that region, that's like, it's known for that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that's like a thing. So
that's so cool.
So even like when Natsumi's parents, they come drive here from Niigata, they'll bring those for us here.
That's so funny. I mean, it's cool because it's like a unique thing, but it's also kind of like you're bringing train station food as a gift. Like, what are you doing?
I know, but it's like a unique thing.
But it is cool.
Because you get to keep the clay pot afterwards. Yeah. And I was always like, I'm going to use these for like a flower pot, and I never did. But the idea was nice.
It's kind of funny because I remember. So I ended up getting one of those, not recently, but back when I was a high school student, and I was I wish I kept the pot, but I wasn't sure what to do with it.
Oh, you mean like the Kamameshi pot?
Yeah. So I just got it as a lunch, right?
Yeah.
And I finished eating it on the bullet train, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just like awkwardly threw it out.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal. I could always just get another one, but I wish I held on to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's a memory thing.
Yeah.
I think we may even have one of those still somewhere in the house, just because it was like a memory thing for me.
Yeah.
So, because for me, like when I grew up in Germany and we would travel, I remember that Austria had the best rest stops ever.
Really?
Like, they were amazing. Like they would have like breakfast buffets and stuff where you would. So the thing about German breakfast that most Americans hate is that their orange juice is so pulpy, you have to chew it.
I love pulpy orange juice, man.
Then you would love
this, man. In fact, I'm the opposite, I guess, of what a lot of people. I can't stand orange juice if it's not pulpy.
Yeah, it
tastes like sugar water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like you'll get that. So it's like, would you like some orange juice with your pulp kind of thing? But they'll have that too. But yeah, so I was always thinking, like, when I was in the States, because I mean, over in Boston, I would take the bus from Boston to New York, which is a 4-hour thing, and you would have a rest stop that would have like Subway and McDonald's and stuff like that, but you wouldn't have anything that's like really unique. And so I really like how in Japan the rest stops are unique. They have like their own little flair to it. Like I went to another one that had produce from a local farm or something in it.
Yeah, how crazy is that? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it in some ways it's kind of cool. I'm guessing that the reason why they do that is because some people would just like bring like a little skillet or something to cook while they're driving. Maybe they want to cook some vegetables on the way or something. I don't know. What do you think?
So Japan has a huge culture of gift giving, and not just giving gifts, but giving food. Like
that's true.
Like whenever people ask for omiyage souvenirs,
Yeah.
I used to get them non-food items because, I mean, that's what you do in the States.
That's what you do.
Yeah. But then they'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. But here, everyone brings food, right?
Yeah.
And so even, like I remember from one of my fans, actually, you weren't here for this, but last week I got a gift from one of my fans. I guess she lives in Aomori or something, because I got a cardboard crate box full of apple cider vinegar, apple juice. Like they even had apple balsamic vinegar, all made in Aomori, right? And it's like who gives vinegar as a gift, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's for like Western sensibilities, right?
Yeah.
So I think giving this produce stuff is like, hey, this is local to the region. Let me bring it as a gift for you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one of the reasons I heard that Disneyland does so much better here than in the States, is because people buy so much stuff at Disneyland for their friends.
That is completely true.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even remember the last time I've been to Disneyland, but my students go a lot.
Okay.
I always hear about them and they show me pictures, but they one particular thing, there's two things that I think people are required to get when you go to Disneyland here. First thing is the stupid mouse ear.
Yeah.
You always get them. It doesn't even matter if you own them.
Yeah.
You got to buy new ones when you go, apparently.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is getting like the little omiyage gift box. So it's like usually like chocolates or some kind of thing. But people, like I remember when I went and there was a huge line just to get them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's funny. So you have this really like, in a non-negative way, you have a consumerist culture where you have a gift-giving culture where you're expected to give stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why they do. Because honestly, if you gave things that were non-perishable, you'd end up with a house full of crap really fast.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So we got really far away from our topic.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, we're talking about trains. All right.
It's your fault for talking about night buses, you jerk.
Oh my God. There's something that I think a person needs to experience here, but they suck.
What is it? What is it?
The night buses.
Oh, the night buses. Yeah.
So going back to trains, we're still a little off topic from the train stories, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
At the train stations, Each station, and I can't speak for all of Japan when I say this, because I haven't been to train stations all over Japan, but I know at least in the Kanto area and around Osaka. So Kanto is like around Tokyo. I know that every station has their own little jingle.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you have a favorite train station jingle?
So my favorite train station jingle is the Ebisu one, because it's actually the Ebisu song.
Oh really?
It like goes like do 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 do. Yeah. But it's funny because someone told me that there was like a jingle in their commercials and that became the jingle there. But yeah, it's just funny how you have that.
So I thought this was hilarious because oh my god, I'm forgetting the train station. I want to say it's Gakuge Daigaku.
Oh yeah, that's on the Toyoko line, just up the street from here.
I want to say it's that station, but I could be mistaken. But it's somewhere on the Toyoko line. They have God Save the Queen, like that.
Wait, how does that go?
Isn't it the same as the Star Spangled Banner?
You can make a mistake. It's fine, dude.
Yeah, I want to say it's the same as the Star Spangled Banner. The dun 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 dun. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Gakuge Daigaku and listen.
I've been drinking too much. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it's
but I really liked that one. And then there was one near Disneyland that's got the Star Wars theme song.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, actually, sorry. For a short time, the Toyoko line Shibuya station had the Star Wars theme as their jingle.
Oh,
before
really?
The doors closed. So I guess they had it. Now it's moved to somewhere else, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Maihama or something like that.
I really enjoy these little jingles because it's just stupid. Like, there's really no other way to explain it. It's just stupid, but like I look forward to the door opening at the train station.
Like, what song is gonna happen?
Right. And so it's funny that you mentioned Ebisu, because Ebisu is like a pretty popular station, and you're riding the Yamanote line going to Shibuya, so you hear this a lot. Right. And just the do 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 do.
Yeah.
Trains are weird.
But what's funny? So my mom mentions when she came and visited us, she was really surprised at how much noise there is when you go outside.
Yeah.
And it's really true, because what I remember, so actually this is one of the things that really surprised me, not necessarily riding the train in Japan, but when I was riding the train outside of Japan, was one, how quiet it is, and two, how few advertisements there are. Because like in Japan,
inside the train?
Yeah, not in Japan, outside, like in other countries. So like, because I got so used to the noises happening.
Yeah.
And I got so used to all the advertisements everywhere. Like they'll have advertisements on the, what do you call like the handles that come from the ceiling?
Oh my god, those are annoying.
Yeah.
I hit my head on those every freaking time.
Dude, because you're so tall. That's why.
Oh god, it's the most obnoxious thing. Yeah. I want to punch whoever like came up with that idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, people in Japan are shorter, so it doesn't hit as many people's heads. That's why they're lower. They still hit my head sometimes.
Yeah. You know, I almost want to kind of stop you there, because I feel like the newer generations, like there's a lot of guys who are my height nowadays. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I feel like those guys also have the same opinion.
Yeah.
Screw those stupid little banners that hang. Sorry, I hate to.
Go for it.
I'm going to go on a rant now.
Go on a rant.
So,
I love it.
Those little banners, and I'll tell you, there's another thing that drives me insane is they don't have this on the JR line, but on my subway line, the center handles in the center of the train station, I just this is me walking through the train station, just hitting my head on the freaking handles every single time. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. And we have to describe this for people. I wish we had like on the Joe Rogan podcast, they have, what's the name of the dude that pulls up the
was it not Johnny, Jim, like Jamie.
Yeah,
Jamie. Pull up the screen.
I wish we had a Jamie here with us, maybe in the future, but no, just like so this is one of the amazing things about all the advertisements, right? So a fully decked out advertisement, like a fully decked out set of ads in a train is kind of like, well, first on the outside you'll have the ads, but on the inside, basically on the on the top corners of kind of where the walls come to the ceiling, you're going to have like a row of banners, which is very common, right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, then you also have ads on the walls themselves in like every open place, which is fine. Yeah. But then you also have 2 ads per window that are smaller, like those window ads.
Yeah.
Like the size of a postcard or something. Mm-hmm. You have 2 of those, right? And then you'll have them on the doors, too. You'll have them in the windows of the doors. But then you'll also have these banners that are hanging from the ceiling down, which is what you hit your head on. Yeah. You know?
There's so much visual noise.
And there are all these like there are these hanging handles that you can hold on to. There's like a strap that has like a handle on it that you hold on to it. And even right above the handle, you have another ad there. But you have all these hanging things that'll hit you on the head if you're too tall.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I will say though, I don't mind most of the ads because I have a massive celebrity crush here in Japan.
Okay.
Do you know who Lola is?
Your love, Lola.
The camera understands me.
Yeah.
It really understands.
Yeah,
so I have a huge celebrity crush on Lola.
Okay.
And for those who don't know who Lola is,
is it Lola or Rora?
Rora. It's Lola.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know who she is, she has appeared in some American movies.
Oh, really?
She's famous for she was in Fast and the Furious, actually.
Dude, that's not a real movie though.
My sister would fight you if she hears you say that.
I'm glad I'm never going to meet your sister.
We have a tradition when I go and hang out with my family of me and my sister always watch the latest Fast and the Furious together.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, shout out to you, Carrie. I know you like that.
I just got to tell you about the Fast and the Furious. I didn't know that they have 8 now. I watched the
They're
first 2.
Insane. Okay, there's no more logic in them anymore.
I know.
But they're just so like they're so special for me because it's just fun watching a dumb action movie with your family.
Okay, so Lola was in Fast and the Furious.
I don't remember which one. I want to say Tokyo Drift, but I don't think that's true.
I don't think so.
She was in one of them.
Okay.
But that's like her most famous role in American cinema. Which is still pretty prestigious, right?
Yeah,
it's a high budget movie. Anyways,
sorry, man, we can pass that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have a huge celebrity crush on her, and she's like the poster girl for like, is it Suntory whiskey that she's?
Yeah, she's really put herself into all these different ad campaigns. It's amazing. She's everywhere.
Yeah, so I get to see her face whenever I go on the train. So that I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
But you know,
why did we bring up Lola again?
I was just talking about the advertisements.
Oh, the advertisements. Oh, no, because it's hard to get on a train like in a major train where you don't see an ad that has her. Sorry, man, I filled that up a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I've drank way too much to have this full.
Sorry, man.
I gotta get a little sippy cup. So it's like your son.
I just got to. We just we've finished almost this entire thing.
Yeah.
So we're almost there. Yeah. We'll finish this. We'll finish this episode when we're done with this bottle.
Yeah. Oh my god. Something else though. It's really funny. Is what about train etiquette? Have you ever seen someone break the rules?
Totally. So the first train rule that I always see broken, and actually the worst time was when one of my friends got on the train with me.
Yeah.
Is talking loudly. Like that's the biggest, especially in Tokyo. That's the rule you don't break. Like that's something amazing that I thought was that there's so much noise in the train station. You have the announcements happening every 30 seconds. You have the trains coming, the announcement for the train. Then you have like the noise announcing that the train's going to come. Then the doors open, and then the jingle goes, and then the trains go. But after those doors close, it's like silence. It's kind of like in those sci-fi movies, like when the doors to like the space station, the doors to the spaceship close. And it's like
yeah.
That's how it feels like to me, right?
It definitely does.
Yeah, and so it's almost like there's this, like even on the rowdiest train with like that's super full to capacity, like you have to push the people in.
Yeah.
Once the doors close, so quiet.
Yeah.
And so then when my friends get on with me, they're like, "Hey Arthur, so how have things been going? It's been really great." Like it sounds like it's echoing.
Yeah.
And I can see other people looking at me like, "Guys, I wish you'd be quiet." I'm like, "I know, I wish she was quiet too." And so I'm like, "Hey, we need to keep our voice low." And it's like, "Oh, okay, I get it. So Arthur, so tell me, so how have things been going? It just goes back to normal.
Yeah. So here's where I noticed I was starting to get influenced by Japan. This was a couple years ago, and I was getting on the train in the morning, just like my normal.
In Japan.
Yeah. Okay. I was getting on the train, just normal commuting to work kind of thing, and there was this guy who cut me off and sat down in the spot that I was going to sit.
Yeah.
And this is a crowded train this morning. That was the only place that I could sit down, and I was looking forward to that because I have my own little morning ritual. I get on, I sit down, I pull open my phone, I play some smartphone games, I check the news, and then usually by then it's like I'm at Mita station, and I get off and I go to work. But this guy sat in my spot.
Yeah.
He sat in my spot, and there was nowhere else to sit down. And so I got in front of him, and I was just like unrealistically grumpy because, like, honestly, I should have just like, oh, okay, whatever. And so, like, I'm sitting in front of him, kind of glaring at him because he cut me off, and I'm just like, I hate you. I'm just looking at him, I'm giving him those death stares. And then this guy pulled out the cardinal sin. He pulled out his phone and just started talking on the phone.
Oh, he was calling someone?
Literally pulled out his phone and started. So for those of you who don't understand, there's a lot of rules with riding the train here, but the one thing that you do not do is talk on the phone in the train. I
would say there are two rules. One is you don't talk on the phone. You don't eat on the train.
Oh, yeah. That's true. But then every once in a while, you'll get like the old men who are just like sitting there pounding beers on the train.
Right.
But everyone just quietly ignores that. But yeah, this guy pulled out his phone and just like, it wasn't even like, hey, I'm late for work. Sorry. I'm, like that. That's kind of forgivable, right?
Yeah, right.
No. This guy pulls out his phone, calls up a family member or friend. It doesn't matter. He's just having a casual conversation.
Really?
And I'm just like, you are literally Satan.
Wow.
You were the most evil person. And I am just like glaring at this guy at this point. And it's kind of funny. Like, I looked around a little bit, and it's when you break the rule on a train, you know about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you were saying. It's like people won't really look at you, but they're looking at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like at the first instant, they'll all look at you for an instant, then they'll look away, but they're still looking at you. Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. But you'll
pick up on the signal.
It was just a quick glance, but they're staring and they're just like,
yeah,
you are wrong. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude.
And God, there was just so much pressure, and I don't even know where that guy, who he is or where he went.
Yeah.
But
no, it's funny because you always have those like free radical people that are just like moving
just don't
around
care.
breaking stuff, Yeah, no, but it's funny because it's like I noticed the same thing. So like in Japan, one thing that was kind of surprising to me is that you don't eat while you're walking down the street, and you don't eat on the train.
Yeah.
And like when you see a foreigner breaking those rules, it's okay because, well, you're a foreigner, like whatever, you don't know. But then I've seen like sometimes Japanese people who like get on the train and then sheepishly eat like an onigiri or something, look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like looking around, making sure no one's like staring at them too much.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's funny how there are all these, there are obvious rules, and then there are unwritten rules that you have to follow too.
Oh, there definitely is. The one I see all the time.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't know why there's no notices about this. Oh, I'm topping you off.
You feel mine pretty high.
I'll top mine off. Don't worry.
Don't spill, man. I'm kind of worried about you right now.
Spill.
Cheers,
okay.
man. Cheers.
Cheers.
I just want you to spill that one. Oh, you did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, something that I don't understand why there's no signs for this. Well, actually, okay, maybe there might be a couple, but I see a lot of people when they're traveling here, they'll wear backpacks.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like an unwritten rule that when you wear a backpack on the train, you put it in front of you.
In front of you.
Yeah. But then you get like, I'm from Switzerland. I'm bringing all my ski equipment, and I have this giant travel backpack. And they just get on the train, and they're just like, wham, just whacking everybody. Yeah, man. I see that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten so bad that now they actually have signs out saying, please put your bag in the front, But yeah, that's a big thing. I remember people before I understood that rule, people would like stare at me on the train. I'm like, why are you staring at me?
Yeah.
Oh wait, now I understand why in hindsight, you know.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because I just I don't feel like it's readily apparent that that's what you're supposed to do. So that's just like one of the things you pick up on after living here for a little bit. You kind of learn these like social norms.
Yeah.
And everything.
So if we're gonna summarize it, one is don't talk loudly.
Yeah.
Don't use the phone.
Yeah.
Don't eat. And put your backpack in the front, especially when it's crowded.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are there any other kind of unwritten rules you saw?
Well, this isn't so much unwritten, but I break this all the time. Yeah. So I'm guilty of this.
Okay.
You know, judge me for what you will.
Okay.
I sit in the disabled person seat all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
So the official rule is that you can sit there, but when it's crowded, you have to give up your seat there.
Yeah.
But in general, people just don't sit there.
But like, hear me out on this, right?
Okay.
So I feel really self-conscious when I'm sitting down and an old person comes over.
Yeah.
And every single time when I give up my seat, because I'm a good, nice person. I'll give up my seat when I see somebody who probably fits the bill. But like, I always feel self-conscious about it because like, what I'm basically saying is like, oh wow, you look old enough to sit down.
Yeah.
Here,
no, it's true.
Take my spot. And it's so funny because like, you know, whenever I'll offer my seat, like the person's like, oh, daijoubu.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's okay. No. And like, it always creates this awkward thing, but man, I really like sitting down on the train.
So I'm kind of the opposite. I like sitting down on the train, but I feel bad if I'm sitting down and so I just have to preface, this is before I actually sit down. When I'm sitting down, I don't care.
Yeah.
But before I sit down, if there's someone else who is standing and there's an open seat, I'm inclined to let them sit down. And
Are you kidding me?
That's how I feel.
Mr. Powerman Arthur, like the guy who's like all about assertiveness.
Seriously, no. I know, this is like the mystery of Arthur right here. It's like,
that's so
why
weird.
is it that I want to be the last person to sit down? You know. Of course, if there's someone standing on the other side of the train, there's an open seat next to me, I'll sit there.
Yeah.
But then with the old person situation, because I didn't want to deal with that, but I also want them to sit down.
Yeah.
So what I do now is I don't say anything. I just get up and I go to another train car. I like walk to another train car.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, so they can't even say anything. It's just like there's a seat open in front of them.
Yeah.
That's how I fix it. So and I'm fine with that, you know.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's funny. It's weird like that.
Trains, it's so weird.
Because sometimes people will get offended if you try to offer them your seat.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I get like self-conscious because it's the whole thing of like, hey, you're old, so you deserve to sit down. And it's kind of like some people don't want to be like, they're old, but they don't want to be called out for it. You know, like I understand that, but
so just don't say anything. Get up, go to the next train car. They're all connected. So
I will say though, a couple times when I've been in that situation where like the person's like, oh, daijoubu, it's okay. I'm like, no, my train station is the next station. And then I'm completely lying. Of course, it's not the next station, but like now I've committed to this lie. So now I have to get off at this station.
So I get off and I get on the next train down. Yeah. Actually, no. There was a time when I did get up and they just sat down and they were thanking me. And I was like, oh, great, we made this connection. Now I feel like I have to actively ignore you because you've said thank you to me. We've established this connection. Yeah. So just because I feel awkward, I get off at that stop and then I get into the next train car next to me just to like avoid that, you know? Because there's like a window where there's time for you to leave. Yes. And it doesn't matter. It's like you give your space, you kind of go to the next train car, it's fine. But if you stay there for like a minute or two and then you suddenly leave, then it's super weird.
It is. I completely understand. Oh my God. I'm so glad I'm not the only person who does this.
Dude, you know, it's funny, like that's the thing, you know, I always thought I am such a weird person.
Yeah.
But what I just realized is I'm actually a normal person. It's just no one talks about this stuff.
No, it's true though.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. And I don't think I think this is something that's not specific to foreigners. I think Japanese people do the same thing.
Yeah.
I just think that's just something you do here. It's yeah, like you said, no one talks about it.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've had a conversation about this.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God.
Dude, I feel really good. I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you want to talk about next time?
Okay.
There's a topic.
We have not talked about this.
Yeah.
We have not even brought it up
Okay.
yet. Let's open Pandora's box and let's talk about Japanese television.
Dude, you don't want to get me started on that.
It is such like
I understand. We'll keep it there because I know what you want to say. Let's talk about that next time.
I just want to leave this one last image. You've seen Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
You know the point where they open up
the Ark.
What is the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah.
Where like all this chaos goes and it like melts everyone's face.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with television.
That's exactly how I feel about Japanese television. Awesome, dude. Let's finish this last one.
Sounds good, man.
Okay. We should finish a bottle every time. This was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay, but then you're always like, oh my God.
No, dude, I know.
Die the next day.
Technically, I have to work after this, but whatever. We'll be fine. All right, man. Thanks.